What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and our guy JSU, Johnny AirPods, will be with us shortly, but he's busy working on some stuff right now. We figure we start the show and start talking some NBA, and then, of course, we'll bring him in to give all the winners. And Tyler, I stand here ashamed, apologetic, and humbled. Why? Why do you ask? Did I cheat on my wife? No. Did I embezzle millions of dollars from people that trusted me? No. I did something worse, Tyler. I
You back
trusted the
those
New
New
York
York
Knicks.
Knicks.
Can you
Yep.
believe that crap? And don't think that during the first half I didn't have my running shoes out. I had my tracksuit ready. I was going to victory lap the heck out of that pick yesterday because nobody agreed with me. Nobody that I talked to. I probably could have gone to New York and no one would have agreed with me. And boy, that was a rough one. Did you see that? I mean, boy, what a meltdown, man.
Yeah, what a meltdown by them. I mean, they did what they remember a couple weeks ago. They would do that. They'd take like a 20-point lead into like the fourth quarter, and then it was like they just gave up after that.
Yeah.
And I mean, just pulling up the scores from those like the second half, just the quarter.
What was the fourth quarter? I tipped it off at 35-15.
I'll just start from the first quarter. They outscored the Nets by 4 there, 29-25. Yep. Then 38-25. Mm-hmm. Then the Nets showed a little life, 22-15 winning the third. And then they were like, all right, we're going to play now. 38-16 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was just so depressing. So, boy, after a great, what was our first day back? Tuesday? Crushed Tuesday, right? A rough couple days
I can tell you one thing, Spread.
Yeah.
This team ain't doing nothing in the playoffs.
Who, the Nets?
Yep.
What I was listening to some podcasts today.
There's only so many games these two can just say, screw it. We're just going to drag you guys to a victory before their legs just give out. There's no way they can go all the way through and get there.
All right. Well, you know what? That's a perfect time to bring in JSU. Tyler says these Nets cannot make the finals. He said that, they're not built for it. What do you think?
Wait, what? Tyler said that the Brooklyn can't make the finals?
I don't think they can make this. After watching how this team's played the last couple of weeks, it's literally just these two or die. Like, I don't know how many more games these guys can just drag them to victories like this. Like, we're watching the Knicks blow them out, and yes, the Knicks just kind of died in the second half. But these top 6 teams in the East aren't going to die in the second half against this team. Like, they're going to keep fighting. They're going to go with defensive schemes that could slow these guys down. And you look, those two guys played 43 minutes, 42 minutes. Bruce Brown and Seth Curry played 33 and 30, the next closest. They put up 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists combined. Like, there's just no third guy behind these two. And I just think somebody's legs are going to give out, and they're not going to be able to do it.
So, okay. I have a problem with, like, we all know that the playoffs, right? Pretty much in the playoffs, the stars come out to shine, right? We all know this in the NBA, right? We all want the best player, right? Like the best player or the best like tandem players. Nowadays, it's more the best tandem players, right? Spread's a little different, but we're looking for that tandem superstars to kind of focus on and get there. You know what I mean? I just don't know how we can throw out a team like the Nets, who we've all agreed has 2 of the best scorers in the NBA. Like, can a team go out there, have a good game plan, slow these guys down 1 or 2 games? Sure they can. It's a 7-game series. I'm sorry, but if you slow down KD and Kyrie for that many games in a row and you, like, sweep them or beat them in 5 or 6, like, you deserve to win. But I don't know if teams can do that. I mean, I watched the Bucks last year against the Nets, where the Nets were dropping like flies, and by the end it was only KD, and KD was one little, toe inch back away from sending the Bucks home by himself at the end. So I don't know, like, how can we just nix them? Like, I watched KD almost by himself almost beat those Bucks, and you can say, yeah, it was almost, they didn't win in the end. Yeah, but you can't tell me that those Bucks fans weren't nervous that entire series, that entire game, right? Like there was no way that everyone was like, oh yeah, this is an easy win. No, KD came out there and he owned them, and they knew he was the only one, right, Tyler? At that point in the playoffs, didn't the Bucks know, like, if we slow down KD, we win?
Yeah, I mean, that's 100%. He was the last guy left.
Yeah. So, and they still couldn't do it. Like they won because they were the better team in the end. That's the truth of it. When you know, two of your three best players go down and you're the other team, like, you should win if you're the Bucks, if that's the case. My point is they still almost lost to this team with two of their three best players out. I don't think we can just take some regular season
But one of those guys is gone.
Yeah, but
right?
I don't think we can take some regular season games and be like, oh, well, they had a really bad half against the Knicks, so they're just not good. What happened in the second half? No, I want to know what happened in the second half.
They are a playing team.
Yeah, they are a playing team. This isn't the only team they've gotten blown out by. Yes, they came back and won the game. Whoop-did-he-do, but
no,
this is the Knicks we're talking about.
KD had a terrible it looked like he wasn't even trying. You guys watched the game?
Yeah, he shot terrible in the first half.
Yeah, until about a minute ago.
The first half, he literally
was breaking stuff.
Like he wasn't even trying. He didn't care, right? What happened in the second half?
Which was weird because we thought in Madison Square Garden he was going to go off, which he eventually ended up doing. But I was kind of surprised by the laissez-faire attitude to start. I
just don't know how we can just throw this guy out the bat. I mean, he got a triple-double, and it felt like in the second half he got a triple-double. Like in the second half, but he was awful in the first half. I can't remember his exact stat line, but I think it was somewhere in the range of like 7-3-1 or 9-3, and it was literally like nothing. You know, he did nothing in the first half, and then all of a sudden, the second half, he pretty much scoops up a triple double. They end up winning by 12. Like, nobody and their mother thought they were coming back in that game and doing that, and they did. And it's just because when you have guys like that, they can turn it on and off whenever they want. So I get where Tyler's hesitance is about them in the playoffs against good teams, right? Because against good teams, in Tyler's head, he's like, well, they can't just turn it on and off against the Bucks. They're going to lose, right? Like that's what we're thinking. But when they face the Bucks, they're not going to do that because it's the playoffs. They know it. They're going to go in there. They're going to be ready. Just like Kyrie was saying after, it felt like it was a playoff in that second half, like a playoff feel to that game. I think they were playing that way in the second half. I think they were frustrated about how they played in the first half. I'm sure those two were kind of calling each other out a little bit. Like, we got to friggin' come back. And they did it. I don't know, though. I can't take a regular season game against the Knicks and be like, yeah, this is what's going to happen in the playoffs. I don't think that. I think when they play quality teams, this is the problem with the stars builds in the NBA now. I think stars know who they play. I think stars know which teams suck. They look on the other side and they're like, we're playing no Julius Randle. You got Jericho Sims starting, RJ Barrett, Alec Burks. These are mid-level. I mean, RJ Barrett's a really good talent, but the rest of them are mid-level NBA players to low NBA players at best. They're looking at this team like, why are we even we don't want to be here playing this team. They want to be playing the better players at the end. I guarantee you when the playoffs start, you're going to see the defense tick up. You're going to see the intensity tick up for the entire game, not just for one half. I think that one half, though, in the second half just shows you how easily they can turn on. And that's my point. What's going to happen when they turn on but do that for an entire game or an entire series? They're not going to lose. That's what's going to happen.
How far do you got them going in the East? Just projection. They ain't getting past the second round in my book.
I mean, you know me, I'm a matchups guy, so I want to see where they fall.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's do it right now. We got some time.
Yeah, we got
let's just assume, and we'll be able to do some of this next week too. Let's just assume it ends pretty much the way it is right now, right?
Okay.
So they're gonna beat Cleveland.
Did you guys hear, by the way, I was listening to a game in Toronto. I think it was a game in the weekend, this past weekend, and I forget who Toronto was playing, but the announcers, I think it was on NBA TV, I'm pretty sure, and the announcers, I'm pretty sure it was the Heat Toronto game, and they were like, yeah, all these GMs are talking about how no one wants to face the Raptors in the play-in, or, they're afraid of playing the Raptors team. Like, no one gives a shit about the Raptors team. They don't want to go to Toronto because they're probably going to lose players to the rules and restrictions. That's why no one wants to face the Raptors. It has nothing to do with the team being good. They were making it sound like, though, everyone was more afraid of playing the Raptors as a team than the Nets. It was ridiculous what I was listening to. These guys, either they had no clue or they were just glossing over the fact that, like,
were they the Toronto home announcers? Because they also call Fred VanVleet
it was
Freddie
NBA
All-Star.
TV.
Yeah, but NBA TV only uses the home broadcast of
oh, okay. So there you go.
They don't have their own.
Those guys.
It was home
those
broadcasters
guys,
then.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that has nothing. Like, I guarantee you Boston doesn't want to play them. Why? Because I guarantee some of those guys are unvaccinated.
Like, they said
we already know who isn't. We already know who isn't. You know who isn't vaccinated on that team, right?
Tatum?
No, Brown.
Brown. Yeah.
They said if Philly played him, Tybal couldn't play.
Yeah, Tybal's out tonight. So you know what? Hey, let's circle back to this at the end of the show because our seedings are going to depend on one of the games tonight. If we have
both games,
the
Boston,
Celtics
Milwaukee
and Milwaukee, because I'm assuming that Brooklyn's going to be 7, right? They're probably going to finish 8th. They beat Cleveland in the first game. Cleveland's decimated. Cleveland might not even make the 8th seed, even though they're in 7th place, right? So they're going to face the 2 seed. So let's knock out the Magic and the Hornets real quick. And then the Celtics and the Bucks, the winner tonight pretty much decides the 2 seed. If I'm correct, Tyler, you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But, assuming both those guys win their last game. Now, Boston does play Memphis in their last game.
Yeah, I just don't know who owns tiebreakers there. You know what I mean?
So wait a second, though. If the Celtics lose and the Bucks win, the Bucks jump the Celtics for the 3 seed.
For 2. I think Philly's going to be 3 no matter what.
Why is Tatum and Horford not playing?
Because they don't want that too. Because I don't think
they don't want to play the Nets without.
They don't want to play the Nets because the Nets are probably going to be 7.
Lose this game, right? Like that's a fact. Because I don't think the Bucks are playing the win games. Like I think they're going to play Giannis again, like lower minutes, like they did last game, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Tatum.
They don't care about where they. I don't think. Yeah. Why? Yeah, he's definitely sitting. Yeah. I just don't.
Well,
think
I did a show this
care.
morning, and he was still questionable.
Yeah, he's out. No, he's out. Horford's out. And then the Bucks, they still list Giannis as probable. I mean, I wouldn't be stunned if they ruled Giannis out at some point. Just say screw it. Or if they don't rule him out, they'll just play him low minutes. But yeah, I don't think anyone wants this 2 seed. Milwaukee can say whatever they want. They don't want to play the Nets in the first round either. I don't think
they do either. Not after last season, especially when.
Now, I don't think Giannis is afraid to play
3,
the
you're
Nets.
playing the Bulls.
There's a difference, in my opinion, though. I don't think he's afraid to play the Nets. That's not what I'm saying.
The Bulls would be a sweep, and then you're resting for a week.
Exactly. Why would you actually
the Bulls
want the Nets?
Yeah.
I would want the Bulls in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, 3 seed is where it's at. No doubt. 1 seed and 3 seed. All right, let's jump into tonight's game, and then if we have time, we'll circle back to this at the end. The Orlando Magic are plus 14, taking on the Hornets. 230 is the total here, plus 802 for the Magic on the money line. I'll be honest, I didn't do a lot on this. I thought the line was pretty good. At this point, like, you kind of have to throw the model out because these tanking teams, they're not running the same lineup they ran all year. Like Franz Wagner only played 8 minutes in the last game, I think, right? So it's like, it's really hard for me to project mathematically. And then, I mean, I don't know. Now I'm just guessing without mathematical edges on a number of 14. I don't know, Tyler. I mean, maybe some performance doubles, but I can also see them being priced out today, right? Because it just seems so obvious. Magic want that, because the idea here for the Magic is, you don't get higher lottery odds, but you would get the 5th seed if you fall out, or the 5th pick rather than the 8th or whatever, right? So, the Magic here definitely want to lose. Tyler, is there a way to approach this game that's profitable? Because I haven't found one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lay the 13.5 with Charlotte because even though Orlando's been tanking, we've seen what they did the other night. They beat Cleveland.
Yeah.
So not going to lay it there.
And they pulled Wagner. Like, it didn't look like they wanted to win, but these guys are going to try hard no matter what, especially
Exactly.
10-day contract guys.
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, some of these performance double, LaMelo Ball, 8+ assists, and Charlotte wins -140. You can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Him to score 22+ points and win is +115. I mean, he could get to 22, but I think that price is a little low. So, I mean, the only one, I mean, even Terry Rozier, 4+ threes, and Charlotte wins only 2-1. So, I mean, they basically priced us out of this game. But looking at just like single props, I wouldn't hate playing the LaMelo Ball over 8.5 assists.
Okay.
He has gone over that number a lot recently. He's had 14, 5, 15, 11, 9 in his most recent 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
If they get up and down the floor against this Orlando team, he could rack up assists right here. So that would be my only play in this game, to be that over 8.5 assists on him.
All right. JSU, how are you approaching this one? I see Wagner's out again. No Cole Anthony. No Wendell Carter. Does that mean there's some value on the Magic side, or am I just being too hopeful?
I might be being a little hopeful. I mean, if we're looking at, if we're talking about DFS, I think you could look at some of these plays just because, a lot of these guys are out, like Carter, Anthony, Wagner, like you said. Mo Bamba's price tag is up, though, on DraftKings. So, like, he's smashed, but it's tough to pay that price tag for him, even in the nut matchup like this. Chumo Kiki's kind of cheap. I like the Mo Wagner, not Franz Wagner, who's out, but Mo Wagner has been playing really well. Very efficient, too. I mean, if things go his way where he picks up more minutes, whether it be to foul trouble, maybe there's a blowout in one direction where he gets a few more minutes, then you could easily play someone like him. But, yeah, I mean, I want to know, too, is Jalen Suggs still on a minutes limit? Are we like, does anyone know if he's going to be limited? Because I'm assuming Fultz stays limited in like the 24 range, but I didn't know if Suggs was.
I would say yes, since he was limited last game. I'll look on Twitter and see if I can find anything.
I can't find anything right now, but like if he wasn't to be limited, I mean, Suggs is at 4.3, it'd be really cheap. So just keep your eye out on that. For the game, though, like obviously for betting and stuff, I think this is just a complete stay away for me. I'm not touching this game. If I were to touch the game, it would be with the points, because at 14, it's like, yeah, Charlotte's the much better team right now with all these guys out, but I just can't take them -14. You know what I mean? I guess we'd probably be looking for one of those performance props where we can add the win or something. Maybe Tyler's got a good one or something like that, but that'd be the only way I'd touch it if we could kind of lower it down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of looking at the over, right? Charlotte gave up 144 to, who did they play recently? It was like Brooklyn, and 145 to Philadelphia, right? So you're thinking, yeah, but that's Brooklyn and Philadelphia. Like, is Orlando going to do that? So I'm fine staying away from that. Our guy.
This is a tough game. This is a tough slate because we got them. And this is one thing you guys have probably been dealing with this for the whole, the start of this whole week, but like you got a bunch of massive spreads here on this slate. And it's like, this is really hard to touch some of these massive spreads. And I understand that some teams are going to roll out some really bad lineups, i.e. the Lakers, Orlando obviously is going to roll out a bad lineup. Portland's been rolling out bad lineups. And then all of a sudden, the best player they do have, they ruled him out last game. Brandon Williams, he's at least looks like he's going to be available for this game. Still, though, it's a bad lineup either way with a bunch of dudes out. I mean, this is going to be a tough slate where, like, I think there's some clear games where we can attack, and there are clear games where I'm just going to stay away from. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I'm going to attack this slate. For DFS, though, it's different because we can find values from some of these games with the higher spreads and stuff. I think that's where you can attack. There's more value in it too, to me, because you can find cheap 3-4K players to put in your lineup. Where like, why are you touching the spread in these games?
Yeah, I mean, and it's true too, because with the bigger spreads, there's a higher variance in the results. So, like when you lose, like, +5.5, like I did last night, it's by like 4.5 points, right? It's pretty close. Sometimes those minus 14s, I mean, they lose by 30 when they win, and they'll be like 2-point games, or when they lose.
Just to
2-point
touch
games
on that, did we see what happened in that Clippers Suns game yesterday?
I turned it off.
Was
I was pissed.
76-36 at 1 point spread with 8 minutes to go in the third. They didn't cover the 7.
No way. Yeah,
They won the game.
It was
they won the game 113 to 109.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Wow.
They're asking if the Hornets could upset the Nets in the play-in. I personally think so.
No, they just don't. That's a team that I don't care what they throw. They don't have what it takes to slow down those two guys.
They don't.
Of the three playing teams, though, I think they have the best chance to beat the Nets.
Yeah,
I get so hot offensively that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they just get into a street ball game with them, and they're like, "You two can put up 80 combined, but our guys are just hitting all game."
We're gonna go crazy too. So.
See, if Cleveland was healthy, I would say Cleveland.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, yeah.
So
yeah,
I would say Atlanta. And then if Cleveland's not healthy, I would say Atlanta, because I think Trae Young is just more elite than anyone else besides the guys the Nets have. Right. Like outside of the Nets players, I think Trae Young's the next elite player in the range. And I do think when everyone else, even John Collins, who's not been in besides him, I still think they have a pretty solid depth of team when they're healthy. Bogdan comes off the bench, and that dude can drop 30 in a game. You got, Herter, who can catch some fire. You got DeAndre Hunter, who's a good two-way guy. Gallinari, who's shown this year that he's still got a little something left in the tank. Not a ton, but a little something left, and he can give you some spot good games. So I don't know. I mean,
that's fair. I mean, if you want to say Atlanta's got a great shot too, I just like Trae's got the best. I think LaMelo's got a little more help around him, right? With Rozier, Hayward, those guys can get buckets a little easier, and then Bridges. But splitting hairs here. I mean,
it's a good point too in the chat. Hawks got the experience too.
Yeah,
good point. Yeah.
I don't know if they have the hunger. They haven't been impressed with their
any
efforts
hunger
so far
this year.
I think I love when Trae plays superstars. He gets on when he plays the top cream of the crop in the NBA, the KDs, I feel like he always tries to boost it a little. Sometimes he tries a little too much, but I think that's his hunger showing. Maybe not the rest of the team, but I do like when Trae plays those elite players.
Yeah, they're definitely someone to watch for. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised, if they ended up with that 8 seed, and I think they might be able to give the Heat some problems. We'll be able to break that down next week.
I hope that we just get the next Nets Bucks in the first round. Just let's
I don't, because I want to watch KD for more than one round.
I want to just watch it. I want to get it.
That is another reason why I just don't think this team goes that far this year. They would have to run an absolute, they were at the top last year. So you kind of got a gimme in the first round. The Celtics were no slouch, but they weren't what they are this year. You right off the bat, 7th seed coming in is the highest you can come. You're drawing Milwaukee, Boston, Miami. Good luck. You're in a dogfight right off the bat. Second round, you're probably in another dogfight.
You can say too, Boston, one of the hottest teams in the second half. Miami, you can say that these are the teams that are just exploded in the second half, right? And Miami's been Jimmy's been in and out. All these guys have been in and out, playing, resting. When that team is fully healthy,
who's got a better chance to beat Brooklyn in your mind, JSU? Miami or Milwaukee?
I think that's an easy question.
Well, I know who you're going to say.
I don't. I'm taking Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Milwaukee's that. That's the obvious team, because I see by my rules, I have to take Milwaukee, because in the playoffs, you always take the team with the better player in the end.
Okay,
that's just that's the way. And I think Giannis has gotten to that point where it's not even. I can't even make a case that Jimmy Bam and company is kind of close. No, Giannis is still
the only person right now I accepted an argument being better than Giannis is KD. I'll argue any other one. If you say KD, I'll back off.
Yeah, I got no issue with someone saying KD's the best in the game. Like I got zero.
I'd say there's
issue
like
with
a
that.
group of players in their like tier up there, like Giannis,
Who else would you? I
Jokic.
don't think I would much rather have money on Giannis.
I mean,
Than Jokic.
yeah.
This
or
is a
Embiid.
different question though, because like, who would you want for like a playoff run? I think it'd be definitely Giannis or KD. I don't think
for sure.
people would be like Jokic or even Embiid for that matter. I think Embiid and Jokic would be 3, 4. I think people want guys who can have the ball in their hands.
I'd probably take Luka before I took those two. Just for the reason you just said. I could just give him the ball, and it's like if the dude magically just does it all himself.
That's my point, though.
Yeah.
That's my point, though, Tyler. Like, I don't think people would take Embiid, Jokic. I don't think they'd be in the till like the 4 or 5 conversation there.
Would you take Tatum for those guys?
Tatum's tier below.
But if you need him in the playoffs, just like JSU said, you got to kind of give them the ball and get the hell out of their way. Now you're in that predicament.
I would take the centers over Tatum.
Yeah.
Just because that man still shows me streaks where he just
disappears.
He just disappears. I wish he was more consistent. I really do, because I would love to say Tatum. I thought when he came out, he was going to be a guaranteed top 5 player in 5 years. Not that that's a terrible take, because I think that's shown that maybe it's not the correct take.
I would say he's top 10.
He's close,
and
right?
He's got
Yeah,
a chance.
exactly. Top 10.
If he shows out and the Celtics make the finals this year, he'll be in all of our top 5.
He says he's coming for MVP next year, so.
I think he's got the talent to do it. So I'm not like, that's not crazy to me either.
Yeah, no, he's not that far away, really. He really, like he said, a little bit of consistency. Where the off nights, he's still getting me 21 and not 11. He's right there. All right, let's talk about those Boston Celtics. They're now plus 8.5 in Milwaukee, taking on the Bucks. And we said this could be a game where nobody wants to win it. Wow. So I wrote this one up last night, and being a little naive, I just kind of wrote it up like both teams were going to try. And that number at the time was Bucks minus 5.5. And I kind of liked that there, with the idea that I thought that Boston was more likely to rest their guys than Milwaukee. But if it was still full strength, I still kind of like that number there. I didn't love it, right? Because Boston's such a great team that I don't, I could see them keeping it close even in a loss here. So it wasn't my favorite play. Now it's 8.5. We have these jumbled lineups. I mean, I would suggest you definitely don't bet this if you haven't already, until you find out about Giannis and Marcus Smart. I mean, if Marcus Smart's out, right, they're punting for sure. So I don't know, Tyler. I say just wait for the news, and if you're in the Discord and something happens, we'll throw it in there. But I don't see how we can accurately handicap this now. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I agree with you. You got to kind of wait. I think Marcus Smart plays. He's listed as probable now. Probably won't see Grayson Allen on the other side, and you already talked about all the other guys out. I can't lay 8 with Milwaukee here, but I also don't want to take the 8.5 with Boston. We know Milwaukee gives up a ton of threes, so I'm just going to go right to the threes market. Marcus Smart over 2.5 threes, plus 136. Okay. Jaylen Brown, his 3 prop is 2.5 at minus 150. I'm not laying that. I would play him over 4 threes, though, at plus 192, because he's going to get a ton of more shots with no Tatum on the floor. And I would even play his points plus rebounds at 33.5. Because he has gotten in there and gotten a ton more rebounds recently. Now, no Tatum, he's got to get even more rebounds, and he's going to be he's going to have a higher usage percentage on the offensive end. So,
if you think Milwaukee wins, just for our later conversation, because if so, then they're a pretty good chance to have that 2 seed. Then move a half game ahead with the tiebreaker over Philadelphia. So, are we writing in Milwaukee at 2?
I think so.
What do you think, JSU?
I agree. I think they're going to win, and it sucks because, I mean, with Tatum and Horford sitting, Boston is definitely trying to punt this game. And Smart being questionable, I don't know why you wouldn't just rule him out now. With sitting Tatum and Horford, it's clear you're not trying to win this game, right? Like, I think so anyways.
Yeah.
Now, who knows? Maybe the Bucks counter spread. That's something that in this type of NBA later in the year, when we know a team has publicly already said, like, hey, listen, we don't care who we play. We don't really care where we are. I do believe they don't care that much where their seeding is. So, like, could they, for instance, decide last minute, you know what, Giannis, take the night off. Maybe we'll give Drew some light minutes, Chris some light minutes, and then just kind of coast. That's very possible. So this is a game where I think the Bucks win. The spread, though, like, if they were to sit these guys, I definitely don't like taking the spread, right, with the Bucks. I think in the end they do win. I hope that none of these guys sit. They at least play, mid minutes, mid 25, like 24, 25 minutes. And I think that's enough to handle what Boston throws out there, because I just don't believe they're going to push to win this game.
Yeah, and it's kind of too bad too, right? Because it's a fascinating matchup. I mean, if both teams were at full strength, it would be like it starts at 4:30 my time. I would be like in the grocery store at 4, like getting my snacks ready for the game, right? It would be like appointment TV. Now, I think I'm going to be more watching the next game that we're talking about. This is my appointment TV. I'm getting snacks for this one, JSU. Philadelphia 76ers in Toronto taking on the Raptors, +2 here, total of 220, -124. I think Philadelphia does want to win to protect that 3 seed potentially, right? And Toronto, this would essentially, if Toronto were to win, they would assume that they would clinch being 5th, right?
They want to win.
Yeah.
They want to win.
And then if they win, there's a chance, right, that this is the series. This is the series. So while we're breaking this game down, give us a little bonus and maybe talk about how you could see a series like this playing out, because you were joking around how no one wants to play the Raptors, but I'll be honest, I think they match up with Philadelphia pretty well, right? Like I said, Philadelphia, I want to play the Bulls. I don't want to play this Toronto team. Start with you, JSU.
Yeah, no doubt. They wanted to play the Bulls. I don't think they wanted to play the Raptors, but it's better than playing the Bucks, the Celtics, the Heat, in my opinion. If you're the Sixers, personally, I would rather play the Raptors than those 3 teams. So, this is who they get, and I think Philly comes out. I think they win this game, by the way. I think that, Toronto matches up for a playoff series decent with them because they have a ton of length, size that can maybe bother guys like James Harden, right? I don't think they have any answer for Embiid. And I think what Embiid's going to do to Toronto is, I think he's just going to really kind of wear them down in the paint. And Siakam's going to get in foul trouble constantly in the series because the guy hacks. He makes the dumbest fouls. One thing he does, and it's literally, it feels like every game, he just makes stupid fouls. Like, if you're going to foul someone, jump up and contest the shot and actually foul him. Don't slap down at their wrist trying to hit the ball every time and give them and ones and hit their hand. Like, I never understood this, and it happens in the NBA all the time. And then when they don't do that, you get the Chris Middleton, kick out of the game because he grabs his hand and then pulls him down because he doesn't want him to finish the layup with his other hand. So he kind of brings him down because he realized, like, oh, if I just smack him, he can still finish with his right hand. So I have to kind of pull him down. And that's why Chris Middleton got ejected. Whether you think it was a dumb ejection, this was like a week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, whether you think it was a dumb ejection or not is it doesn't matter. It's the fact that he pulled him down because he realized if he just slapped him, the guy was going to get an and one, whoever it was. And he was right. But it happens in the NBA all the time. I can't stand it. And Siakam's a leader in the dumb fouls. And Embiid is just going to get and ones. He's just going to own them down low. So it might be like a tougher matchup. I don't see Embiid struggling in this matchup. That's where they're going to have the issue spread. So unless you see an answer for Embiid, I don't see an answer for Embiid. Like, what are they going to do against them?
So here's what I think. I don't see an answer for Embiid, and I'm still comfortable taking Toronto. I think the Toronto can win this game even with Embiid dropping like 40 and 15. Because I think that Toronto can do a great job on everybody else. And I think that Toronto is going to have a huge advantage in transition because, Embiid is great in the half-court setting. He's not as good in transition. Same thing. Their transition defense is real good, which kind of stops the other guys from getting loose. And I also think that they can bait Harden into taking a lot of step backs. I think they're fast and athletic enough to stay in front of him, give him that space. He's going to shoot those shots. If he's hot, I'll take the L. But I like Toronto here.
What's going to happen with their transition when they keep following Philly?
Well, they're not going to be able to get it then, of course. I think that's going to be an issue. I mean,
what's going to happen when Joel Embiid and James Harden are constantly on the free throw line? I'm telling you, this Raptors team is overly aggressive, and that's the one thing you can't be against guys like Joel Embiid and James Harden. You can't be overly aggressive because they take advantage of it like no other. They do. They know exactly where your hand's going to be when they do anything. They know exactly how to draw fouls. And the Raptors are so long and they're rangy. They want to block shots and get steals. Watch Fred VanVleet play. Every time he's on ball, he's trying to rip the ball handler. Like he's not trying to stay in front of him. No, he's trying to pick their pocket. And in this day NBA, you don't see many defenders who literally play defense like they're trying to rip you every time they're in front of you. Most people just try and keep you in front of them, keep you to one side or whatever the game plan is for that player specifically. Fred VanVleet tries to rip the ball out of people's hands every time. He was doing it to Kyle Lowry like constantly on that game on Saturday. Scotty Barnes is similar. He gets right up in your face. Chris Boucher, literally everyone, Siakam, they all play overly aggressive. I think the two people who you do not want to do that against are the two people that they're going to struggle the most with, and that's Harden and Embiid. And you'll see it when they're constantly at the free throw line because of dumb fouls. You're going to watch the series, and you're going to go, there's another dumb foul like that they shouldn't have had. Like, I'm just telling you right now.
No, I agree with you there. My only two things would be that Toronto is 2-1 against Philadelphia this year, so that they are able to absorb that Embiid thing. And the other thing is, I know they're super aggressive on defense and they do make those bad fouls, but the aggression allows them to be one of the best defenses in the league. They've just moved their way into the top 10. And if you saw how bad they were, right? And I haven't sorted, by just the last 2 months, but there might be close to a top 5 defense. So I think you have great points, right? I wouldn't be surprised, I'm going to bet the Raptors. I wouldn't be surprised if I lost this bet, and you win. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we're having the same conversation next week in a 7-game series and not just a one-off in Toronto. So, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be interested to see how much we're drawing from this game when we're doing our breakdowns next week.
So do you like the Raptors here spread? Are you taking the
we're going to be opposite here. But
Okay.
I took the Knicks last night, so take that with a grain of salt.
All right, so
Tyler, break the tie.
I got to be the tiebreaker. I'm usually the guy that starts
against
these.
you, spread.
I know, but yeah, you are, Tyler. I put you on the spot here.
I mean, I'm going to side with you, spread. Give me Toronto. Give me the better coach.
Okay.
I know Harden still gets his, but he's not the same Harden we've seen recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's definitely lost a step. Embiid could do what he does here. And they might even throw double teams at him and just force all these other guys to beat him. Philly's bench is absolutely terrible. And Toronto's going to run these starters into the ground tonight. Like, when these Philly bench guys hit the floor, you're still going to have guys out there like VanVleet, Trent, Barnes, OG, and these guys. So I think you're going to win those minutes too. So I'm going to take Toronto here at the plus money. I think they're going to pick up this win.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to revisiting this next week because, like I said, the way that I'm projecting this plays out, this is one of my first round matchups here. If Boston's able to beat Memphis after falling the other night, because Philadelphia would fall tonight. If they win, though, then they got that chance for 3. Play the Bulls in the first round.
Spread. These teams have played twice, correct, this year?
I think so. No, 3 times.
I think so, right? Well, Embiid has played this team twice.
Yeah, maybe that's throwing off my 2-1.
Okay, so Embiid's played this team twice. I think Harden's played.
It should be 3 times though, because they're in the same division, right?
Embiid went to the free throw in those 2 games. Embiid went to the free throw line for a total of 25 times. He had 25 free throw attempts in those 2 games. In the playoffs, when they tighten up and you hear every whistle, which I think this regular season it's been kind of hit or miss, in my opinion. we started out, it was kind of like they let them
It's back
play.
to normal now.
It's kind of back to normal now.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I watched Toronto against Miami. They let them play a little bit. I was impressed. They let them play a little bit. They were being aggressive. Yeah, but just wait until the playoffs when that whistle is you're going to hear it a lot more. You're going to be
I disagree. You might in the first half, but in those last 5 minutes of these games, these officials don't want a foul call to decide the game. They're doing everything they can to let things go. I think that's been part of Harden's lack of success. Is his game is so predicated off getting to the line, and then if you remember that series where he went like 3 of 17 or whatever, he wouldn't have done that if he could have got to the line and settled himself down and watched the ball go through the hoop. Like, as we were never high level players, right? But as guys who played the basketball, right? Hitting those free throws, hitting easy shots.
People understand if they've played any type of level of basketball, like if you can ever get a free look to shoot a jumper from the free throw line, it definitely like calms you down, right? Like you can take a nice deep breath, you take a dribble or two, whatever your little pre-thing is, you take another deep breath and then you shoot it. It's the only time in the game though, where there's never anyone like in front of you. You're not pressured to rush a shot, right? You don't have to shoot it in 1 second. You know what I mean? Like in the NBA, if you think about it, if you don't pull that shot in a second or second and a half, well, a guy's all over you. You're never just like hanging out wide open. And if you are, it's a bucket, but it's still like you're getting that shot up. I remember one shot Trey took 2 games ago where he literally like did the shoulder shrug and just looked at the hoop for like 3 seconds because there was no one around him.
I was watching that game too because they were rotating, right? They were playing a switch defense.
Yeah.
And then the 2 guys looked at each other like, which one of us is supposed to go?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Neither of them went.
And Trey knew it too. He was like in that right like angle of the 3, and he just like relaxed his shoulders, and then it was like he does a free throw and then just drained a 3. But you don't see that very often, right? Is my point. Right. So when you get those type of shots, it completely can calm you down if you're a shooter. And I agree. James Harden's game is predicated on getting to the free throw line, which helps his outside game.
And what's funny, and we're going way off the rails here, but they should expect this by now on Thursday. The difference between me on Butler and Harden, right? Both games predicated on trying to get to the free throw line. At least Butler tries to finish every single time. And I think that as a fan, it just makes him so much more likable because it's like, yes, he's drawing the contact. He wants to get to the line, but he's making a legitimate attempt. He's not just throwing the ball up or, hooking it towards the rim. So it counts.
He's trying to go through contact.
Right. Every time.
Every time. Yeah. That's the difference.
All right, Tyler, any props for this game?
No, nothing really in that game. Looking at some of these performance doubles, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you like the Philly side, Embiid double-double and Philly wins plus 130. Yeah, if you like the other side, Siakam 23+ points and wins plus 225. Van Fleet 20+ and wins plus 275. Siakam double-double and wins 3-1. And Gary Trent 20+ and wins plus 420. Those are some ways I'd attack this game.
Who do you think they'll put on Siakam?
Probably be Harris. I mean, where do you hide it? Yeah, like when Toronto goes small, he's probably going to have to guard Siakam.
Yeah, in those minutes, but they're not going to start small. What do you think for Siakam's matchup tonight, JSU? Are you interested in him from a DFS perspective?
My issue with him is like, what's his price tag here? 9,500. It's going to all depend on the value for me because, like, just straight up, I think some of these other pay-ups like Jokic and Embiid are just better pay-ups if you can get up there. Now, there's a big price difference, obviously. But if we were to get like a couple teams where there's massive like 3K values like we had with the OKC Thunder and stuff like that.
Like if Milwaukee just rules everybody out, which I still think is a possibility.
Exactly. If we get that type of scenario, then I do think Pascal is someone that would be in play more at that point because he's power forward and center. He's not center only, which is something that DraftKings, they've had him center only a lot this year, which has been weird. I'm glad he's power forward center because like he shouldn't be center, in my opinion. He should be a power forward. And but like when you have Jokic and Embiid and other good centers, it's tough to play him when he's center only. It's kind of like AD, how they've had AD center only, and it's like I hate that. Like let him be power forward and center, so I can play him with some of the good centers.
Call him and ask him, DraftKings.
I know.
All right, anything more on this one before we move on?
No,
nothing for me.
I'm definitely
those are
I'm
the
definitely
two most
high
interesting
on the Sixers though against and you guys know I hate the Sixers, but I'm definitely higher on them than the Raps.
Okay, I can't wait for this game. Like I said, my original idea was I was going to be grabbing snacks for the Bucks game, but I'm be settling in to watch this one tonight. So be excited for that. I might have this one on my other TV. We'll see. It's the San Antonio Spurs. They're headed to Minnesota, taking on the Timberwolves, -7.5 here, 239. So the highest total has to be noted there. Plus 234, 243 for the Spurs. Spurs, right? They're not dead. They're playing pretty well. I think these teams are locked in. However, is that the case? Minnesota. I mean, I guess they can make a last gasp effort to catch Denver. And San Antonio. Actually, no. So San Antonio is playing for that home spot. So both teams have slight things to play for, even though we're pretty sure that one's going to be 7,
do we trust Pop for the home spot spread? Do we trust Pop?
What do you mean?
Like, do we trust Greg Popovich to really push for that home spot?
Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't he want it?
Because he's Greg Popovich and they're already in the play-in. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? He's Greg Popovich.
I would rather win a home in a row game rather than
home.
2 road games, right?
I don't think he cares personally.
All right. Well, that's an interesting way to approach it. Then, so you don't think he cares? Does that mean that
not from the standpoint, like, I don't know, like if he thought like one of his guys needed to rest, I think he would just rest them. Like,
well, let's check the injury report. I didn't read that off when I was setting up this game. So DeJounte Murray's out for sure, but we know he's legitimately sick, man. If you saw his interview, you'd feel for him. He wants to be out there. Vassal's probable. Lonnie Walker's questionable. And Romeo Langford's probable, right? And then on the other side, Malik Beasley, Jaden McDaniels, and Patrick Beverley. So, I mean, I guess some of these guys could need the rest, right? Lonnie Walker might not play. Does that mean that you like the Timberwolves here? Because they are trying to make a statement, man. They're trying to return to being a respectable franchise, and they want to win every game. This really matters to them.
Yeah. So, yes, I understand that home games equal more money. People don't understand that Greg Popovich does not give a fuck. Like, I don't think Greg Popovich cares about, and he's Greg Popovich too, by the way. Like, like him and the owners, like, trust me, if he wants to do something, he's doing it. Like, he's Greg Popovich. Like, but I do understand from the money standpoint. It is a good point. Brian put it in the chat saying it does make a point, more money, obviously, but at the same time, Pop does what he fucking wants. He does not care. If he wants to play these guys all 20 minutes tonight and play the G League backups 24, 25 minutes, he'll do it. He don't care. So I do think, though, Minnesota is my lean here in this game. I think Cat smashes. I think San Antonio hasn't had an answer for him this year in the games that they've played. I think he has another big game tonight. I think this is a spot where Tyler maybe could find a nice juicy player prop with like Cat to score 30, maybe gets 30 in a double-double plus the win or something like that. Do we have anything like that on FanDuel or DK, Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler's game seems like it's tailor-made for your specialty.
Oh, this is exactly
the Cat double-double when Minnesota wins -110.
Okay.
Him to score 26 plus points and wins plus 130, 30 plus points and win plus 210.
Yeah, I love that.
I like the plus 210. Let's swing for the fences there.
Yeah, I love that. Let's do that because I do think Minnesota wins. I agree with spread. I think they're trying to make a statement here, and I think we see Minnesota's. They're a tough. Like, I think in the West, they're a team that could sneak up and take someone down. Like, I think they have enough firepower to give one of these teams a run for their money, especially like if a Golden State didn't have Steph Curry for the first round or something like that. Utah. I don't think they play Utah just because I don't think Utah. What are they, fifth right now?
No, yeah,
I don't
Utah's
think
pretty much stuck in fifth. I mean,
but like anyone besides like Suns, Grizzlies, I wouldn't love Dallas either. But like, would I be shocked if they could give Dallas a strong run? Like, no, I wouldn't be shocked. So I think they're the team in this play-in situation in the West. Them and the Clippers that are the two most dangerous. That if like I'm a team coming out, I'm hoping one of those teams loses somehow because I think they can give one of these teams a strong run.
If they make it, they have to win that game against the Clippers because they can't hang with Phoenix. They could give Memphis problems.
If Minnesota could find a way to edge out Denver, is it still possible they get that?
Yeah,
six?
if they won their last two and Denver lost their last two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think them beating Golden State if Steph wasn't healthy is very possible.
Yeah, that's not the craziest idea.
No.
Tyler, what else? What other thoughts do you have on this game?
The only other thing I'd play in this game would be Cat over his points plus rebounds at 37.5. I mean, he's going to eat up this matchup. But other than that, I mean, I side with everything you guys said. Minnesota picks up the win. They probably look like a good team here. Cat probably dominates. So we're all on the same side here.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how much time we're going to spend on this next one. So if you guys want to Jimmy Butler it and just throw it behind, that's fine with me. Portland Trailblazers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Pelicans lane 17 here. Total 220.5 plus 1041. Man, I didn't want to get involved. JSU, am I missing something here? Should I just lay the 17? I'm not taking Portland. You're on mute.
If you were to do anything, I think you just lay the point like 17 and take a shot, I guess. But I don't know. You could also just find a player prop or something like that. If Brandon Ingram's out, I mean, CJ McCollum's prop, I'm trying to look right now. Actually, where is he right now? -150. Like you could probably find a good, like a points prop because I do think he'd probably have a big game with no Ingram. But I don't know. This is a game where, like I said, this game and one other game, I would just kind of stay away from.
Let's stay away from it, Tyler, unless you have props for us. Do you have props, Tyler?
The only prop I'd play in this one would be CJ McCollum over his points plus assists with no Ingram, probably. Okay. He's probably going to put up a nice number. It's 31.5. Or you can go to Joe Val's points plus rebounds at 31.5. But I like the CJ one a little better because the ball's in his hands. He could score you 25 points, and you only need 7 assists at that point.
All right, this next one's interesting. Memphis Grizzlies plus 4.5. We know they're locked into the second seed, though. Then some from playing hard against Utah, though. I pushed on that bet, but I didn't feel it was a lack of effort that caused me to push. Denver Nuggets, like I said, they need this win. If they get this win, then they essentially keep Minnesota in 7, right? So this will clinch the sixth seed for them and potentially give them a chance to catch with Utah. I don't know the tiebreakers between Denver and Utah, though, but Denver definitely has something to play for here tonight. Milwaukee's been excellent. Doesn't matter who's out. They just play great team basketball. Credit to Taylor Jenkins for getting this team going in the right way. It was 5.5 earlier. I really liked it at 5.5, so I guess I'd still like it at 4.5, but definitely the value's chipping away because, like I said, with these smaller spreads, each point really matters a lot more than the difference between like a -14 and a -17. So, JSU, what do you think?
Yeah, it is funny that Memphis, like, I feel like they're just that team that no matter where they are, this is how they play. Just try. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think they give up. Now, will we see some players lighten the load minutes-wise? I have no idea. I thought maybe last game they might, and they didn't, right, Spread? Like, those guys played – the starters played pretty big minutes. I think
but their starting backcourt's out, right?
Yeah, but Jaren Jackson played like 38 minutes, didn't he? Or 37
He's not a guy you have to worry about for wear and tear, though, because he has so many 25-minute nights because of fouls, right?
That is a good point, actually. That is a good point. Well, okay, so my point is, though, like, you would think that they might just, give their backup a little more run. I understand that some of these guys are backups, but, like, they're not. So this is going to be a really interesting game on how you want to go. I agree. Denver needs this game. I'm going to side with Denver. I do think they find a way here. I do think Jokic finds a way. Look at what the dude's been doing. He's just put this team on his back. And I think one interesting thing that I've noticed, his assist numbers are kind of down because I think teams are forcing him to score more. I've talked about this on the show a lot about making Jokic a scorer and let the dude score 40 and don't let him do what he wants to do. He wants to pass. He wants to get everyone involved and then get his later. You know what I mean? That's kind of how so I think it's interesting. Teams are kind of like, all right, let's see, drop 35, drop 40 on us. He's been doing that recently. So it's going to be interesting to see if this continues in the playoffs. I do think it will, but I think for this game specifically, I'm going to lean Denver just because they need to win this game, but I hate going against Memphis. It definitely scares me.
So, Tyler, we do this a lot, right? So, Jokic is definitely the best player on the floor, right? Even without Ja and Dylan Brooks, is Memphis going to have number 2, 3, 4, 5 as far as the best players on the floor?
Yeah, it's looking like that. I mean,
Will Barton.
Hey, don't disrespect Bones Highland when he's on the floor.
He's not even starting, right? Is he?
I know.
Yeah, I got to take the points with Memphis here. A little sprinkle on the money line. I mean, Denver, just like JSU said, they need this game. They could pick up the win. At this point in the year, though, I think Jokic is just flat out tired. Like, he's just dragging these guys along. The dude needs a break before he goes into the playoffs. They can't – yes, they could fall into the play-in game, but they need to lose 2 games and Minnesota win 2 games. So I don't see him getting there. I'm going to take Memphis here.
Wait, you said Jokic is tired?
Yeah, he's definitely got to be tired. He's dragging his team along.
Jokic just scored 70 fantasy points or more in 6 games.
Fantasy points. I want actual. Like that's the thing.
Oh, you want actual points? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll oblige you there. 35, 8, and 12. 26, 11. Hold on. 35, 8, and 12. 26, 11, 19. 37, 9, 13. Listen to these stats. 38, 8, 19. 38, 6, 18. 41, 4, and 17. When's he getting tired, Tyler? Somebody tell me when the guy's getting tired.
Gotta get tired.
He should have been tired like 5 games ago.
Gotta get tired.
I would have been exhausted after like 2 games. This dude's friggin' this guy.
I'm so tired of hearing about Jokic's fantasy points, his VORP, his advanced stats. That's all I hear about this pudgy fuck.
Okay, I'll oblige you. I'll just give you his real points then from now on because he's been fucking dropping 40 almost every night.
All right, that's gonna be a fun game too. So, sorry, Portland Trailblazers, probably won't have you on my TV tonight. This last game, we can do this one quick. The Lakers eliminated plus 14 in Golden State, 218.5 plus 849. Is LeBron playing? He was questionable so he's out. So wow, so he's not going for that scoring title. I thought he might, right? Because Embiid moved ahead of him last night. So. Tyler, we'll start with you on this one. I guess it's player prop season here.
This is ball it up and throw it away season spread. I ain't betting this game.
All right. Well, let's talk a little more about Milwaukee at the end. So JSU, do you have a lot on this game or do we just move on? I guess give them the DFS aspects of it, right? Lakers have value now?
Yeah. I mean, for DFS, I think there's going to be some value on some of these guys. What do we got here? So all 3 of the studs are out.
So if I set my Saber Sim to 2 Lakers, who do you think it's going to spit out for me?
Here's the problem, though. The Lakers still do have some bodies. Like that's the one thing. I would play the cheaper guys personally. I want to see what a starting lineups look like, but you probably want like someone like Reeves, THT, Stanley Johnson, like some of these guys who, could pick up, run, and blowout run either way. These guys are gross. They're all bad. Like Trevor Ariza has gotten run. Like, what are we doing, Lakers? Like, he's gotten some run. I don't know what I'm going to do for DFS. Like, some of these guys aren't like 3K either spread. That's the other thing.
Mhm.
Some of them are like 4K, 4,600, 5K, Malik 6K. They're not going to run out those guys, though, big minutes. I wonder if they don't even start them. They pull like an
I have no
OKC.
idea. I mean, the Lakers and Frank Vogel might have been in this position years ago with the Pacers, but I don't really remember. I thought that they were a pretty consistent playoff team even when he was there. So
If
as
you're
far
going to
as
take one of those big spread favorites here, I definitely think Golden State is the team.
really,
Yeah, I mean, this Lakers team is awful. Like, I couldn't even imagine. I would not even touch the points with this Lakers team. Like, if anything, I would take Golden State, or I would just stay away completely. But if you were going to take like one big spread here and take the favorite, it would definitely be Golden State for me, no doubt.
all right. If we were going to do a potential Nets path here off what we broke down off the games today. So we kind of had Philadelphia in 4 and Boston at 2-3. Although that could change because if JSU's right and Philadelphia wins tonight, they would be 3. All right, let's just do it with Philadelphia at 3. So the Nets would play Milwaukee in round 1. So of course they got a chance to get past that, right? But you still got to put it at what? I'd say it's going to be at least like minus 180, which is going to give you like what? 38% chance to get by. But let's just assume they do. Then they have Philadelphia in the second round. I think they match up well with Philadelphia. If you're the Nets, would you rather play the Sixers or the Celtics, JSU?
Sixers or the Celtics. If I'm the Nets,
I'd rather play the Sixers.
Sixers,
what about
definitely.
you, Tyler?
Yeah.
You 100% want to play the Sixers. You want to bring that team into Brooklyn and just let that crowd tear into them.
Yeah.
We've seen what happened in the regular season game. Yeah, you definitely want Philly in that matchup.
Okay, so here's what I'll say for you as we're going through this exercise, JSU. If they beat Milwaukee in the first round, then I think you're right. They do become the favorite, right? I like Brooklyn over Miami if they face in the conference finals. What do you think?
Yeah, I would take Brooklyn over Miami. Yep.
All right, let's say, Tyler, for you, minus 110 on both sides. It's Brooklyn and Miami in the conference finals. Miami would have the home court advantage. Would you take Brooklyn or would you take the Heat?
What was the question? I couldn't hear you.
Miami versus Brooklyn conference finals. Who would you take? Assuming
Miami.
it's money. Okay, so he's on the opposite side here. So that's why Tyler, right? He's got him losing. So you think the only
he doesn't like the Nets. He was literally saying the Hornets
that's
could
how it
beat
all
the
started.
Nets. So
yeah. All right, cool. So this is a lot of fun. I love having you on every day, JSU. And as much as the people enjoy hearing us talk, they're really here for the best bets. You mentioned it's a tough one today, but we'll start with you, JSU. And I'm wondering if you're going to go opposite of what I was going to take.
I'm not gonna mess with that game just for you, spread.
Thank you.
I will save that game for you, and I'm gonna go with Minnesota to win and cat the double, or if you want to get really risky, you can get the 30 points and win for the plus 220, like Tyler was saying. But I think T-Wolves win tonight, so give me the T-Wolves and the cat double. We'll put those together. Nice performance prop for you guys. And then I do think the Sixers win the game. So that would be another game I'd take. Not my best bet, but Sixers. And then as of right now, I think the Bucks win as of now, unless they just completely rule out every single player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna final countdown is gonna be some work today. I'm telling you, all your builds might be thrown out 5 minutes before lock tonight. Because I could see some crazy stuff happening. Tyler, what's your best bet for today?
Give me Memphis plus that 4.5. I think they keep it close with Denver, maybe even beat them.
Oh, Tyler, Fate, and Jokic again. This is going to be a great show tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And I'll go with the Raptors -2. I kind of spoiled it there, but or +2. I like them at home against Philadelphia for the reasons I mentioned. And then, of course, we'll be able to talk about this hopefully next week again. So, Tyler, it wouldn't be an NBA rundown though without one of your now infamous parlays. It's like a slice of pizza. People are coming from all over just to get a taste. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, I mean, this one's tough because half these games, half the side of the game still locked that we want because of injury news. So, I mean, we'll go. How about we go with we got to wait for the Discord because I can't put together anything with what's on the board right now.
Wait for the Discord. I like that. That's some salesmanship. And of course, if you want to become a member of that Discord, runpuresports.com, promo code Masters50 gives you 50% off whatever package you decide. But you need to be on the bets package to go ahead and get that parlay. So that is what we are working on. JSU, great content this weekend, right? I know you guys crush golf. I'm knocking out the tennis and baseball started. So how is life for you now? Do you do baseball?
Yeah, I do baseball.
Do you sleep?
No.
This is amazing.
No, not really. So yeah, that's what I was doing actually when I hopped on. I was finishing that up, and then I had some questions to get to. But yeah, so we got the baseball content. It's all up. Obviously, opening day today. We'll have another live show in the morning tomorrow on the Run Pure Sports YouTube page. So make sure you check that out if you're looking for baseball content. We got it all at Run Pure Sports. And then, like Spread said, every other sport, tennis. We got the big UFC card this week, which is going to be a sick card, by the way. So if you're into UFC, that I can't wait for that. I love UFC and I love playing the DFS stuff, but it's one of my favorite sports to just sit down and watch. Like outside of basketball, it's probably like my favorite sport to just sit down and watch. I still want to have money on it, obviously, so I'm still going to play like DFS or bet on it. But it's just I love UFC. Been watching it for forever, so I love that, and we got really good content for it. Title does a really good job. Got a full Discord, playbooks, core plays. Big T gets in there. All of us kind of try and get in there, and it's a good time. So, and then NASCAR has been big. Coop, Matty Ice. We got a new NASCAR guy who's been dropping a free NASCAR article on the website. So even if you're not a subscriber to the site, you can still go check out his free NASCAR article, which drops, I think it's like the day of or the day before the race, it'll drop. So like this week, the race is on Saturday, the big race. So I'm sure like Saturday morning, the article will drop. And that article has been fire. And all the other guys who do the Kegger on the bet side, who's been coming on for the DFS shows. He does a lot of great content on the bet side for, his live sports betting show that he does and him and Coop, and they're picking winners on there. Just tons of winners being picked nightly in NBA, all the other sports, tennis. So we're just going to keep going. No sleep until I just have to sleep. Spread. That's it. And then I'll get an hour and then reboot and start again.
All right, Jay, I'll expect you to see one of those like Monster Energy or Rockstar logos here to keep. Oh, I see you sipping on something there. So We the People says gamblers do every sport, Spread, and I said, I can't anymore, and I'm talking about handicapping them, right? That doesn't mean I don't have a ton of action on baseball today because, as Eric said, Joey Work is the best with baseball. JJ's fantastic too. Woke up this morning, jumped on the Run Pure Bets website, and I got 4 baseball plays that I can't wait to go ahead and watch this afternoon. So I do bet these sports, We the People. I'm just not handicapping them. I'm focusing, staying in my lane, and I'm relying on the guys that really crush the sport. And that's Joey Work and JJ. So just another great reason to become a member of Run Pure Bets. If you're like me and you I got tennis on all day. Then I do NBA in the evening, right? So, I can't do baseball at the level that these guys do. And if I can't do it at that level, I don't want to do it at all. That's why it's so great to be a member of Run Pure Bets. Tyler, any words of wisdom before we get off?
Nope, that's it for me today. Be back tomorrow with we got 9 games in NBA tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, hopefully not 7 potential blowouts.
Yeah,
I looked. It's not a good one. It's not a good one.
Oh, great.
It's going to be like today. So
it's going to get worse. Like just wait until that Sunday slate where it's literally every game is just G Leaguers everywhere.
Oh, bro, I already planned a hiking trip that day. I gotta get some sunshine because I'm gonna be, stuck in the house. After that, it's just so much prep. Monday I get the day off to do all my prep, and then we're gonna be go. So it's gonna be awesome. So thank you everybody for joining us. Members of the Discord, that parlay will be in there later today, so you can thank Tyler when it cashes. Run Pure.